Hello, everyone, and thank you so very much for tuning in. I am super excited to welcome one of my best friends in business, in life, my soror, and I have to tell you all this story. So let me introduce myself. My name is Andrea Evans. I own the law firm of Andrea H Evans, a full-service intellectual property law firm. We provide patent, trademark, and copyright legal services worldwide to clients all over the world with U.S. intellectual property issues. And believe it or not, we laugh and we joke and we talk about all the craziness that happens on social media. You're watching this on social media, but I met this pioneer in business on Twitter, which is amazing. And so when I think about what's going on in the world with this current pandemic and people complaining and having the wrong mindset, I think about Donna Maria and her positivity and her transparency and what she's done to make an impact on so many men and women in the maker and entrepreneur space. So she is a genius at this. And for her to take time out of her busy schedule to be with us today means so much. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Miss Donna Maria Coles Johnson, Esquire. So yes, she's a lawyer turned business entrepreneur, mogul, and social media guru, mastermind guru, you name it. And I have to add this one thing, Donna Maria, before you get started. Every January, you all see all those beautiful pictures of me. Sometimes I'll have Chris with me in these pictures where we're traveling to Aruba and Turks and Caicos and we're masterminding. The brainchild behind that is Donna Maria. So you guys can ask her questions about those retreats because it's something to be refreshed and recharged. But Donna Maria, take it away. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you. Andrea, first of all, thank you so much for having me. When you asked, I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't even have to read it closely. It was like, yes, whatever you want me to do. I'm so happy to spend time with you and your viewers. So I'm really, really thrilled to be here. So I am an attorney by trade. Do they still say that these days? I went to school to be an attorney, and I was an attorney for several years. But in the late 1990 timeframe, I was living in Africa, writing a book, getting it ready for publication, and ready for something new. So I loved my job, but I really wanted to do something new. So I ended up starting a business called the Indie Business Network, which is the very first membership-based business on the internet that I know of. I don't know anyone that had a membership business with recurring revenue and subscriptions before I did. So if somebody else did, let me know. But so far, I think I was the first. So the Indie Business Network is that business. And this is our 20th year anniversary in business. So I'm excited to be here and talk with Andrea and meet with you, answer any questions that you have. And I'm leaving out the whole 20 years because we'd be here all day for that. But that's generally the story. And I'm working right now at the Indie Business Network. I'm the founder and CEO. And then I do other things as well, which maybe we can get into, but it's quite a bit, so maybe we'll just kind of let it come up naturally in the conversation. But I'm really thrilled to be here and excited to meet all of you.
Well, first of all, congratulations on 20 years. So that's 2 decades, and it sounds so much better when you say 2 decades. That seems like an impossible number. And to many people that are watching this, I want you to give them some encouragement. I mean, obviously you've had more good days than bad days, but what keeps you motivated, especially to have a business for 20 years?
Several things keep me motivated, Andrea. That's a good question, but I think the core one is my purpose in my business is connected to my purpose in my life. And while I'm a wife and a mom and I have lots of different things that are important to me, ultimately my purpose in life is to empower women to maximize their potential through small business ownership. And that's my purpose in life. And so I translated that into a purpose in business, and the two overlap. And that's what keeps me going, because when I'm doing my business, I'm fulfilling my life purpose. And if you can figure out as you go through your life what your life purpose is, and you may have more than one, but that's the one that we're talking about here is the business one. Like I'm a mom, so I have other life purposes. But obviously my personal purpose transcends my children. And I really had to think about that, when they were young. I had to remember this will be over one day. I will still have the same purpose. So that's really what keeps me going is I'm very self-aware. I know why I'm here on this earth. And I translate that into how I can deliver business benefits to other people. And that's what keeps me going.
Well, here's the $1,000,000 question though. So you are very fortunate that you have discovered your purpose, obviously. And anybody that knows Donna Maria knows she is very passionate about helping makers, helping women. And there are even some men that are part of the Indie Business Network that are makers. And
Yes.
can you explain how did you actually discover what your purpose was? Because so many people right now have time. Like a lot of employers have sent their workers home. I just talked to one of my family members who still has a job, but her job has actually told her they're cutting her paycheck 30%.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that you're working. None of us expected this to happen.
Right.
So do you recommend this time to reflect, to find your purpose? And if so, how do you do that?
Okay, I think here's the short answer. The short answer is you don't find your purpose, you act your way into it. Okay, because finding and reflecting are great things to do, but they're not proactive enough, I think, to really discover and act your way into it. So I think you need to take action. You need to have a general idea of what you like and what you don't like, obviously. Like if there's things that you don't like, they're probably not part of your purpose. But if you have a list of, say, 10 things, which most people do, most people have so many things they're passionate about that their eyes glaze over and they're like, I don't know which direction to go in. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And a lot of times when we are confronted with a lot of options, we stop. Like we get overwhelmed and then we do what, Andrea? We do nothing, like we do zero. So my suggestion is, and this is what I did, was I just acted on the things that I was passionate about. And as I acted, as I actually took steps forward and did things that were visible to me and visible to the world, it slowly began to manifest itself. External things started happening. So for example, you need a new car. You decide you want a Prius, right? No advertising here, but whatever. You decide you want a Prius. Suddenly, when you go to the car dealership and you look at one and you like it and you drive it and it feels really good, what happens when you leave? Every single car you see is a Prius. Like everybody's driving a Prius and you're like, oh wow, I must be buying the right car, right? Because look at all these, this must be our best decision ever. Look at all these Priuses out here. It's the same sort of idea. You acted on it. You thought about what you wanted. May not be the only car you could live with, obviously, but it was in contention. You went someplace, you took some time out of your life to do something about it. You took a test drive, you liked it, you discovered that. And then afterward, they all started coming at you. Like it began to appear in your mind. So what happens is very similar in your business is you start trying different things. Not a whole lot, just a few, try a few things. And what you'll find is people respond to some, they respond to others, they respond to some better than others. And if you're very careful about doing things like taking action that feels right to you, eventually, and it won't take very long if you're very consistent, what will happen is it will feel right to you. The resources that you need will start to come to you. The people that you need, Andrea is one of them, almost 20 years ago, who came to me. The people who you need, well, we came to each other, I guess, but the people who you need will start to come to you and it will begin to manifest itself. That's how manifestation works, generally speaking. And it's also what I would suggest that people do. Don't just read all the books and dream about all the things that you could do. Start doing something. Use the hours in your day, which a lot of people have more of than usual now, to actually begin to take action, and you will see things manifest themselves.
Wow. Well, as you were talking, I don't know what happened. It was like the spotlight was on you because you were preaching over there. And you're right. Action is critical because so many people have good ideas and they just think about the what ifs and they talk themselves out of it. And in your business, believe it or not, I use a lot of the makers as an inspiration to my clients. And personally, they're an inspiration to me because when I think about soaps and lotions and I think about McDonald's and Burger King, so many people say, well, there's already a such and such business or somebody's already making this. And then I meet members of the Indie Business Network who have formed this amazing community. And so like you said, people sort of manifest their way into your life. So let's talk about community, because you are the queen of Indie Business Network and just a nurturer, a friend, a confidant. I mean, just all around, just a great person. You really are, Donna Maria. So can you talk about the importance of community and how people can find their community? And, you know, one thing that I love about you is when the community wasn't there, you created a community. So let's talk about community overall.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. You're nice too. And I admire you greatly and I appreciate those kind words. They say that content is king, but it's not true. Community is king. It is king all over the place, and you don't have content unless you have community, because guess what? Your content comes from your community, and you don't have cash unless you have content. So your cash comes from your content. So you see the flow? You want the cash, you need the content. Got the content, you need the community to produce that. So my belief, and it's worked for 20 years, and I do suggest it to everyone. This is what I do in my mentoring and my coaching. You need to create community. Like you said, Andre, it's not about finding. And see, this is a mindset. Like, you don't find anything. You create it. Okay, you become what you create what you become. You create it. So you will create, as you create a business, you will create a community. Like your first customer is your first community member. Your second customer is your second community member. The two people they tell that don't buy anything, they are your third and your fourth community members, okay? So community is king when it comes to any sort of business. And we are living in a community economy. And the sooner people recognize that, the more fulfilled they will be, because they will have more people to serve, and the more excited they will be with the results that they're going to get in their business. Because you cannot serve without having a community. And this is more visible now than ever, because why? Social media, right? Social media. So look at all the big, huge brands and what they're doing. They're creating what? Communities. Usually brand influencers, you know, they take it to a whole nother level, the multi-billion-dollar corporations, but they're doing the same thing that you and I are on a much bigger level. That's all it is. It's the same thing. So create your community one person at a time, two people at a time, and they tell two friends, and then like the hair commercial of years ago, it just multiplies itself if you are consistent. And if you don't go from this to I'm bored and I want to do this, and oh my gosh, that didn't work out after 3 weeks, so I'm going to do this. And you got to be committed, you got to be consistent, and you have to deal with it like you deal with your children. It might drive you crazy, but you're in it. Like, you ain't going to get out. So you have to have that mindset in order to create a business that lasts, a business that really digs deep into that community that you create, and also spawns multiple income streams over the years.
Oh, I love it, because look, call it a community, a tribe, your squad, whatever. Everybody needs somebody. And you're preaching to the choir, because when I literally started on Twitter, I started because of the Today Show, and they said everybody's on Twitter, and I joined and I posted one tweet, and then I sat there and I'm like, wait, what's supposed to happen? You know, somebody gonna like this? Is somebody gonna reshare this? And I just kept pushing, because there's so many people when you start a business or when you do anything in life that will tell you no, or that will doubt you. But then there's so many more people, like you said, as you create the community that you want to be around, that will push you and encourage you. And you've been doing a lot of that lately. So I've been watching a lot of your videos, and you've been doing a lot of encouragement. And there are two words that really stand out in your videos lately, and that's being a leader, and that's pivoting. So let's talk about that theme, leading and pivoting. Tell us more about what that means to you.
Okay, one of the things that I really do think is so important for entrepreneurs is, see, we worry a lot as small business owners about things like the funnel and the email list, and all those things are important. But I think what's more important is that we concern ourselves with our leadership skills and our leadership capabilities and our ability to lead ourselves. And here's why. I'll just give you a micro example. Okay, when you start a business today, you have to be on social media. But what's your first question? Oh my gosh, there's like 85,000 to choose from. Which do I do? What most people do is try to do them all. And what happens then? Like a whole lot of messiness usually happens then. Not all the time, but 99% of the time. So the first thing you need to make sure that you're doing as you grow your business is leading yourself so that you can decide which of those social media outlets you want to really dig and seek your teeth into first, so that you can master one and build a community on one, and then you can master another. Now, I'm not saying that it's like neat little silos one after the other. They usually weave themselves into each other, but your leadership skills are what's important in general in your business, and also especially now, because right now, you have to lead yourself, for example, off the television, off of CNN. My husband works for CNN. Don't watch CNN. And if you do, watch this much. Or get your news from another reliable source like the World Health Organization, the CDC, your state governor's website. Everything you need is there. You don't need all day, every day to have Fox and CNN and all the rest of them, whatever they are, in the background in your house, freaking you out in your subconscious all day long, or in your headphones. So lead yourself to the things that are going to empower you. Yes, you need to know the real deal. We don't want to dig our heads in the sand about the situation that we find ourselves in now, but you don't need to overload yourself with it. So make sure that if you are overloading yourself with anything, it's with the things that lead you in the direction that you want to go in your business. And we have to lead ourselves there. So that's the first thing, because if you are really focused on developing yourself personally as a leader, then you can lead what? Your community. When you have a community, you have to lead them. Like you're not going to influence them unless you're leading them, because that's what leadership is. So you want to make sure that that's the first thing. And the second thing is when you have to pivot, which we're all doing right now, tweaking, pivoting, whatever you want to call it, we're the leaders. Like we're deciding how we're pivoting. We're deciding, oh, that business model's not going to work in this current pandemic or the economy that we're in, because we don't have to be in a pandemic to have this conversation. It could be anything that's externally impacting your business. You have to lead your business through it. Your business is not going to lead you and drag you along. You have to pull your business along. So you have to look at the vulnerabilities in your business. What are they during this difficult time? And then you have to be able to be objective about those vulnerabilities, and you have to fill them. And you do that best when you are focusing on developing your leadership skills and also making sure that you invoke them so that you can do the right pivot or the right tweak for your business. Does that help?
Yes, it helps tremendously. And thank you for that, because, everything you're saying today has a theme of we are in control of our own destiny. So if you're around doubters, you can create a community that will push and encourage you. If you are sitting and you have time now, it's up to you to figure out how you're going to pivot and be a leader while you do that. So that's amazing. And you're getting a lot of hearts and likes, and thank you all for that. And so I could talk to you forever, and people are dying to know how they can become a part of your community and any services that you are offering that apply to them. So please tell us where we can find you on social media and where we can support you and become part of your fabulous community.
Well, if you are any sort of a creative entrepreneur, particularly if you make products that serve people, like lifestyle products, pottery, herbal tea, all the awesome artisan and unique boutique type bespoke products, handmade perfumes, candles, lotions, those sorts of things, you can join me at the Indie Business Network. We have thousands of members across the country in all 50 states. And we empower, we encourage, we uplift. We actually have a wellness webinar coming up in about an hour and a half. Last week we had one on branding, where we had a branding expert come in and actually share case studies with us about the power of branding, how to create a brand, how a brand is created, I should say. So we do these sorts of things. We have thousands of learning resources in our library, and you learn directly from me. I have a program that's included in the membership. It's called the Indie Method, my 4 phases of entrepreneurship: emerge, engage, evolve, and expand. That's how your business is going to grow, by the way. I just dropped something there. That's what you're going to do. You're going to emerge, engage, evolve, and expand. And then at some point you're going to exit, right? But we can talk about that later. So we got the 5 E's. So that's where you can join me. If you don't want to become a member, if that's not for you, I have an online business success show on Sunday evenings at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Donna Maria CEO. And I'm there at 8:30 p.m. It's recorded as well, so you can always watch later and post questions in the comments and so forth. And follow me on Instagram as well. I have some Instagram TV series that I do at Donna Maria CEO on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I'm going to post all those links so everybody can follow you everywhere. And don't be surprised if you get bombarded with friend requests, because you know that beautiful smile and just personality and passion that you have is just shining through today. So don't be surprised. And yes, I would like to encourage everyone watching that's even thinking about making something to consider Indie Business Network, because what I love about that community, like I said, in terms of motivation, inspiring, and sisterhood, it's all of those things wrapped in one. And so you'll find people saying, hey, I'm in the kitchen making soap, and what do I need to add, to people selling in Target and stores around the world. So don't count yourself out, and you need a community like that, and you need Donna Maria as your leader. So thank you so much. During this time, we need more people to step up, and I'm so excited to introduce you to some of my personal friends that are leaders in their industry. But one last question before we go. Okay. So people are watching. You have dropped some nuggets here today, words of wisdom. But what is your mantra? If you had to give everyone one sentence or 1 to 2 sentences of words of encouragement, please share that, and then they're going to just have to follow you to get more information from you.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Don't worry about making the right decision. Just make the decision right.
Woo, all right. Now, you know, we're recording. I want to reach through the camera and give you a virtual hug, because this has inspired me today. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you all soon, and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Thanks, everyone.